Hello friends, this is our video series on critical reasoning for GMAT, where we will be solving more than 300 types of critical reasoning question for GMAT. I am beginning with the first part of this series. Let's begin with the first question. Insect infestations in certain cotton growing regions of the world have caused dramatic increases of cotton on the world market. Knowing that cotton plants mature quickly, many soybean growers in Ortovia plan to cease growing soybeans, the price of which has long been stable, and to begin raising cotton instead, thereby taking advantage of the high price of cotton to increase their income significantly over the next several years. Which of the following, if true, most calls into question the reasoning on which the plan is based? Now we have to choose that option which weakens the reasoning of the question. Let's take one option. Let's say A. The cost of raising soybean has increased significantly over the past several years and is expected to continue to climb. This supports a switch to cotton. Rising costs will lead to reduced income from soybean in the future. So this doesn't weaken the question. C option says in the past several years there has been no sharp increase in the demand for cotton and for goods made out of cotton, either outside the scope, and has no impact either way. D option says few consumers would be willing to pay significantly higher prices for cotton goods than they are now paying. This says cotton price is maxed out now. There is not much potential for any additional gains, but it does not weaken the plan. If there are still insect problems, we can make money selling the cotton at current prices, so it doesn't weaken the plan. E option says the species of insect that has infested cotton plants has never been known to attack soybean plants. Does not give a reason why the plan will fail, so it is also not the correct option. While the B option says test of a newly developed inexpensive pesticide have shown it to be both environmentally safe and effective against the insects that have infested cotton crops. This would weaken the conclusion by attacking the assumption that insects will continue to affect cotton. So this is our answer, option B. Moving on to the second question. Jennifer. Video rental outlets in Centerville together handle 10,000 fewer video rentals in 1994 than in 1993. The decline in rent probably due almost entirely to the February 1994 opening of Videorama, the first and only video rental outlet in the area. In addition to renting videos, also sold them cheaply. Brad, there must be another explanation. As you yourself said, the decline was on the order of 10,000 rentals, yet Videorama sold only 4,000 videos in 1994. Which of the following, if true, would most seriously weaken the force of the objection that Brad presents to Jennifer's explanation? Take one option at a time. A says in 1994 Videorama rented out more videos than it sold. It doesn't matter how many videos Videorama specifically rented because the total number of rentals still decreased by 10,000. So option A is ruled out. In 1994, two new outlets that rent but that do not sell videos open in Centerville. Again, doesn't matter. Jennifer is discussing the total number of rentals in Centerville by every store. So option B is also ruled out. Option C says most of the video rentals outlet in Centerville rent videos at a discount on certain nights of the week. Again, this option is irrelevant. D says people often buy videos of movies that they have previously seen in a theater. Again, this doesn't answer our question, so this option is irrelevant and ruled out. Option E says People who own videos frequently loan them to their friends. So this is the right option, as Videorama may have only sold 4,000 videos, but those videos could have been loaned out to people who would have instead rented the movie, thereby decreasing the total number of rentals. So option number E is the correct answer. Moving on to the third question, although fullerene spherical molecules made entirely of were first found in the laboratory, they have since been found in nature, formed in fissures of the rare mineral shungite. Since laboratory synthesis of fullerenes requires distinctive conditions of temperature and pressure, this discovery should give geologists a test case for evaluating hypotheses about the state of Earth's crust at the time these naturally occurring fullerenes were formed. Which of the following, if true, most seriously undermines the argument? Let's check one option at a time. A says confirming that the shungite genuinely contained fullerenes took careful experimentation. It is not weakening the argument, rather it is supporting the argument in some way, so A is ruled out. B says some fullerenes have also been found on the remains of a small meteorite that collided with a spacecraft. This argument is totally out of scope and not relevant, so B is also ruled out. C says the mineral shungite itself contains large amount of carbon from which the fullerenes apparently formed. This option doesn't undermine the argument, so option C is also ruled out. D says the naturally occurring fullerenes are arranged in a previously unknown crystalline structure. Now, naturally occurring fullerenes are previously in unknown crystalline structure, while laboratory fullerenes are in spherical structure. Both have different structure. Conditions of temperature and pressure required will be different for these two forms, so option D undermines the argument. So our answer is D. Let's move on to the fourth question. Finding of a survey of Systems magazine subscribers, 30% of all merchandise orders placed by subscribers in response to advertisements in the magazine last year were placed by subscribers under age 35. Finding of a survey of advertisers in System magazine. Most of the merchandise orders placed in response to advertisements in Systems last year were placed by people under age 35. For both of the findings to be accurate, which of the following must be true? A option says more subscribers to Systems who have never ordered merchandise in response to advertisements in the magazine are age 35 or are under age 35. This doesn't give any information on the present statistics, so option A is ruled out. Option B says among subscribers to Systems, the proportion who are under age 35 was considerably lower last year than it is now. Again, this doesn't give any statistics on the present. Option C says most merchandise orders placed in response to advertisements in Systems last year were placed by Systems subscriber over age 35. This is totally opposite statement to the under age 35. So option C is ruled out. Option D says last year the average dollar amount of merchandise orders placed was less for subscribers under age 35 than for those aged 35 or over. Option D can't predict average dollar amounts, so it is ruled out. Last option, option E says last year many people who placed orders for merchandise in response to advertisements in Systems were not subscribers to the magazine. So this is the option that makes both the findings accurate. So option E is our answer. Let's move on to the fifth question. A major impediment to wide acceptance of electric vehicles, even on the part of people who use their cars almost exclusively for commuting is the inability to use their electric vehicles for occasional extended trips. In an attempt to make purchasing electric vehicles more attractive to commuters, one electric vehicle producer is planning to offer customers 3 days rental of a conventional car for every 1000 miles that they drive their electric vehicle. Which of the following, if true, most threatens the plan's prospect for success? Now, A says many electric vehicles that are used for commercial purposes are not needed for extended trips. This doesn't threaten the plan's prospect in any way, so option A is ruled out. B says because a majority of commuters drive at least 100 miles per week, the cost of the producer of making good the offer would add considerably to the already high price of electric vehicles. Now this option is already increasing the cost of already high price of electric vehicles, so option B is the one that is threatening the plans most. So option B is answer. Let's look at other options as well. Option C says the relatively long time it takes to recharge the battery of an electric vehicle can easily be fitted into the regular patterns of car use characteristic of commuters. Now this is supporting the use of electric vehicle and not threatening the plan in any way. So option C is ruled out. Option D says although electric vehicles are essentially emission free in actual use, generating the electricity necessary for charging an electric vehicle's battery can burden the environment. Now is out of scope as nothing about environment is talked about, so again D is ruled out. E says some family vehicles are used primarily not for commuting but for making short local trips such as to do errands. This option is again irrelevant and has nothing to do with the plan, so E is also ruled out, so our answer is B. Let's move on to the next question. Until now, only injectable vaccines against influenza have been available. They have been primarily used by older adults who are at risk for complications from influenza. A new vaccine administered in a nasal spray form has proven effective in preventing influenza in children. Since children are significantly more likely than adults to contract and spread influenza, making the new vaccine widely available for children will greatly reduce the spread of influenza across the population. Now, which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? Option A, if a person receives both the nasal spray and the injectable vaccine, they do not interfere with each other. This doesn't strengthen the argument, so option A. B says the new vaccine uses the same mechanism to ward off influenza as injectable vaccine do. Again, this is not strengthening the argument. Let's look at option D. Of the older adults who contract influenza, relatively few contract it from children with influenza. This strengthens the argument since when they will be contracted with influenza from children, they will be buying new vaccine for their children. So D is the correct option. I will stop here and there will be more such critical reasoning solved question videos. Thank you for